And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, 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 welcome to the presentation Profitizer. This is your proven formula to increasing your impact and increasing your impact and increasing your income. And it is my pleasure to be here with you today. This is Trish Carr, and I'm one of the co-founders of Women's Prosperity Network. And really, today's conversation is all about you. It's about you and your messaging and how you get across the message that you want to get across to people so that they hear you, so that they listen, and so they want more. And what it's really about is that we're all one humanity, one planet, one love, one respect. And really, what I want to show you is in the context of that, because I am, people call me a sales expert. And yes, I'm really good at sales. I've been doing it my entire adult life, doing it myself, generating lots and lots of income because of it, speaking to groups, speaking one-on-one, speaking in writing to all of you many, many times. You all get emails. So what I want to do today is I want to show you how you can increase your influence and expand your reach using some of these techniques that I have used for over 3 decades that have brought in millions and millions of dollars into my business and into the projects that I work on, the charities, the funding, things that we need. I'm able to, luckily, have an ability to influence people to open their purses and open their hearts. And I want to share that with you. So I want to help you increase your influence. Secondly, I'd like to show you how to easily engage and attract the right people. The right people, the people who are right for you and the people for whom you are right for. We often work with people and we talk with people who are not quite our people. So I want to help you find those right people. The other thing I want to share with you today is how you can leverage your time to increase your bank account. Because here's the reality of it. You've got to have an income to have an outcome. Mother Teresa, although she had the greatest message, she was well funded with millions and millions of dollars to fuel her mission. So whatever your mission is, we need to fuel that bank account. And I want to show you how to do that today. And then the last thing is I want to share a way that you can take what we're going to talk about today to the next level. Because, I met Stedman Graham once. Many of you know him because he's my girlfriend Oprah Winfrey's boyfriend, right? And Stedman Graham has a quote that he said to me, and I just loved it. He said, "There's no transformation in mere information." Let me repeat that. There's no transformation in mere information. So my goal for us today is to share information that brings you to the next level so that you can transform where you are in terms of messaging for your business, your products, your services, and your projects. So that's what our goal is for today. And my goal is, of course, to be finished with this in about an hour, give you enough information so that you can actually take the presentation Profitizer formula and put it into action in your business and in your life. Now, many of you who are on the webinar today have been to speaker trainings and messaging trainings and sales trainings that Women's Prosperity Network provides. So for some of you, this will be a great reminder of the formula that we use so that you can remember to use it over and over and over again. So I also want to ask each of you to stay with me till the end of the webinar today, and I'm going to give you an extra bonus, something you can only get if you stay through to the end. I promise you're going to be happy that you stayed. So I'll share that with you before we go. So, all right, so here I want to start with I'm going to get right into the meat of the matter. I don't want to give you a lot of fluff today. I don't want you to get a lot of noise. What I want to do is get to the point quickly. So I hope you're okay with that. And here we're going to start with something very basic, and that is what we call the sales funnel. Now, whatever you call this, it's a basic tenet of business. So it works out that at the top, you're going to meet lots and lots of people. Like right here on this webinar, there are dozens and dozens of people. Every month, Women's Prosperity Network does local networkings. We also do a Zoom online networking on the third Tuesday of every month where dozens of people get to meet each other. So all of those people are basically unknown until you have an opportunity to speak to them, learn more about them, and qualify whether they are your people or whether you are for them. So once you get to know them a little bit better, then we call them prospects. Okay, this is someone who can use my services. That's a prospect. And again, I'm going to use these terms. They're sales terms. They're very common in the world of sales. So let's not get too concerned. You know, I always like to say I'm going to use four-letter words here, and the four-letter word is sales, right? So whatever you want to call it, you can call it. But I want to get the basic foundation here. So they become your prospects. And as your prospects, you're going to be sharing with them some free information so they get to know who you are or how you can serve them. Perhaps you have some low-cost ways that they can taste your product. And I say taste in a way that they can feel it, absorb it, understand it. And then they become a customer and they purchase from you. Usually when people don't know you, they start purchasing from you with smaller amounts of money. But as they move in their level of confidence and trust with you, they start to buy the higher price programs that you have. And they actually become not only your best clients, but they become advocates for your business, and they share and let other people know. I would imagine, just give me a yes in the chat if you want more customers in your business. Give me a yes if that's you. Yes, I would think so. Yeah, I love seeing that. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, Women's Prosperity Network, we love yes so much we say it 3 times. So yes, we all want more customers in our business. And let me show you the demonstration of the value of customers for each one of us. So if you think about it, you probably have met in your networking world at least 500 people. Now, whether they're already in your database or they're simply sitting as business cards on your desk, it doesn't matter. They're people that you know. But as you continuously nurture relationships, let me show you what can happen as people learn to love you, learn to trust you, and learn to become advocates for you. So let's say you have 500 people in your database or 500 people in your business card folder. When those 500 people come in for free and they learn more about you, let's say 10%, if you're able to influence 10% of them to move with you to the next level, that means that you'll have 50 people now purchasing your lowest level product. And just for the conversation, let's say that's about a $100 product. So those 50 people are going to purchase that $97 product. 5 are going to purchase, now we're talking 10%, right? 10% of 50 is 5. 5 of those are going to go to your $500 product. And then 1 of those, if we're looking at 10%, is going to go to your high level product. For the conversation here, I made it $5 grand. For you, it might be $2 grand. For others, it might be 10 grand. For others, it could be 15,000. But here's what happens in the real world in real terms of money. So at that lowest level, you have earned $4,850 when 10% of the people you've engaged are buying at your top level. When you move down to the 10% below, that's another almost $2,500 and then another 5,000. So in your group of 500 people, as you move them, as they gain trust, as they care more about what you offer, you end up with a really nice paycheck of $12,335. Now, I think any business person can do 10%. Wouldn't you agree? That's a yes, yes, yes. If you're in business and you can move 10%, that's a wonderful thing. But let me show you what's possible when you can move to 20%. And I'm going to ask you to guess. So right now you're looking at $12,000 with a 10% closing ratio. If you've seen this before, don't give it away. But if you haven't, what do you think it would be if I just doubled my closing ratio to 20%? Go ahead and write that in the chat. What do you think it's going to be when it goes to 20% instead of 10%? Chrissy's saying she doesn't see the slides. Everybody else is seeing the slides. Yes, yes, yes? You're not seeing the slides. You should be seeing the slides. I'm sharing.
No.
Me? Brian, I saw you shake your head this way that you couldn't see my slides. What do you see, Brian?
I see everybody, but I don't see any slides.
That's funny. Who else isn't seeing slides? Put your hand up if you're not seeing the slides.
No slides, Tiana.
Oh, that's so funny. I'm doing a share. Let me go double check. Select a window. How about
There
now?
we go.
Yay! Thank you so much for shaking your head. I so appreciate that. Yeah.
Thanks for letting us know there were slides.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. So here's what's happening is that, let me just do a quick manage. Perfect. Now that I got it. Thanks. All right, I'm gonna put everybody else on mute.
Right. Ooh, I'm so sorry.
All right, so here's the slides. Now you can actually see them. Yay! All right, so it gives you the total. So I am not able to see the chat when I am seeing the slides, which is part of my challenge. So Susan, it'll have to be my ears, which means I'm gonna leave your line. Susan, you have to unmute before you announce. So I asked everybody if it's 12,000 or 10%, what do you think it's gonna be for 20% when I actually double it? So what kind of guesses did you get into the chat?
All kinds of yeses and yeses and yeses.
Okay, anybody want to give me a guess? All right, let me show you what happens at 20%. So make a mental note, 12,000 when you're at 10%. 20%, same exact people, same exact products. Now your number goes to 9,700 to almost 10,000 to 20,000, and now you went from 12,000 to almost $40,000 for the same people, the same products, and yet you only increased your sales ability by 10%. Wouldn't you like to do that? That's what I'm here to talk with you about today, is to be able to actually do that. And let me show you, for those of you who have databases that are much higher than 5,000, look at the difference. This is at 10%. Now it was more than double for 20%, and the same is true here. Again, quadruple is what we're talking about. So when you can go from 10% to 20%, you quadruple. Imagine what happens when you hit 30%, being able to talk to 100 people and 30 of them buy, or 100 people and 40 of them buy. That's what we're talking about here. So I know that the people I have today with me are all change agents. Every single one of you, if you are plugged into Women's Prosperity Network, you are a change agent, because the people who are at Women's Prosperity Network, yes, most of us are business owners, and most of us who are in jobs are not just in jobs as an employee, but are in our jobs knowing full well that we're 100% responsible for everything that happens to us and how much money we make and the influence that we have. So each of us is a change agent, and everyone here is making a difference. And it's making a difference in your own life as well as in the lives of everyone you want to reach. And then lastly, you're an action taker who's doing what it takes. And I often ask myself, how lucky am I to get to work with people like this? Debbie Montgomery Johnson. Many of you know Debbie. She came to Women's Prosperity Network about 3 years ago, and she was running a business, which she still runs. It's called benfotiamine, and it is a product that she offers people who have neuropathy. And she came to our messaging and speaking training so that she could learn how to articulate what her product does within the confines of what the FDA will allow her to say, because you know, if it's not approved by the FDA, all that stuff. So she had some parameters she had to be within, and she wanted to make sure she got her message across in a compelling way. Well, Debbie was in the workshop, and while we're in the workshop, one of the things we do is we really look at authentically you, like who are you, what motivates you, what moves you, because your inspiration for who you are and what you do moves people to want to work with you. So we were having lots of conversation about your story and things you've been through, and as we're doing this, someone else is actually at the front of the room, and she finishes her story, and Debbie stands up and says, you know what? I have a story that I haven't told to anyone. The only people that know about this are my parents. And I think it's time I came out about this. And she was really like shaking, like this was something major that she was going to share. And here's how it turns out. 5 years ago, she's at work at the Palm Beach County School System, where she's the treasurer of the Palm Beach County Schools. And she gets a phone call and picks up the phone, and it's her son. And her son said, Mom, Dad died. Dad died. So here's Debbie at work trying to hold it all together, figuring it all out. She goes home. She finds out that Lou had a heart attack when he was on the west coast of Florida when he was fishing. Boom, dead before the paramedics could get there. So you can imagine how a woman, Debbie, in her early 50s with children, 1 at home and 3 away, was feeling and how she was dealing with it. And you know, she did what a lot of us do. People would say, Debbie, how you doing? How you feeling? And her answer would be, oh, I'm great. I'm fine. She'd put on that smile that we all wear. I'm doing okay. I'm making it through. But the reality was she wasn't. She was lonely, and she was going to bed at night and crying in her pillow. So about 6 months in, her friends all said to her, Debbie, you need to start dating. And of course, it was the furthest thing from her mind, but on the other hand, she was lonely and would have liked to have somebody to hang out with. So what do people do in this day and age to date? They go online. So that's what Debbie did. And she even made sure she went to a good site. She went to a Christian site, so she felt that she would be safer, and she actually met a man. And the story was beautiful. They fell in love. He owned his own business. He did exporting out of different places in Europe. And over the course of 2 years, their relationship grew and grew and grew. And Debbie was the happiest she's been in a very long time. The only weird thing was that for some reason, every time they were supposed to meet in person, something came up. Well, you can see what's coming, right? We all know these stories now. So Debbie actually wrote a book, which I'm holding in my hand. And let me tell you what happened. What happened was Debbie, because she was in love with this person who really needed her help, ended up giving away $1,080, $762.43. Sorry, let me get that again. $1,080,762.43. So over the course of 2 years, Debbie gave away over $1 million to this man that she loved, only to find out that he wasn't who he said he was. So Debbie hid for the next 2 years. Debbie didn't tell anybody except for her parents. And did I mention that Debbie didn't have a lot of money because her husband, Lou, 2 months before he died, canceled his life insurance, right? You can pick your jaw up off the floor now. So she was giving away all of her money. But here's the thing. She stepped into her power, and she found that this story was running her, and she swore that she would never let it happen to another person, much less another woman, but you'd be surprised how many men this happens to. So she wrote a book. After she came out of the workshop, she was on a mission to make sure that no other woman hid behind the smile of shame again. Now, 2 years, a little more than 2 years later, Debbie has been on all of these TV shows. She's in books. She was on CBS this morning with Gayle King, where they actually called her and flew her to New York to go on the CBS morning show. So if you have a mission, if you have a message, let's turn up the fire and do for you what Debbie has done. Because we all have a mission. And listen, I do not take for granted how fortunate I am to be able to work with people like Debbie who are on this planet to do good. Oh, and by the way, her business has also increased because she's used those same skills that she's using now to tell this story in telling the story of her business and how it can make a difference to people. So she's seeing her revenue go up and she's seeing her reach expand. And who knew that I would be one of those people who would be able to support people like Debbie Montgomery Johnson in being advocates for others. That's me, graduating from the 8th grade, going into high school from St. Bernard's to St. Joseph's. Yes, I was a Catholic schoolgirl. But who knew back then that that would be what I would do? Who knew that I would have trained over 500 people to be professional speakers? You know, as we speak, there are dozens of people that have been through the presentation Profitizer who use it on a daily basis. As we speak, they're in England, they're in the Netherlands, they're in California, they're in all over the US, they're in Canada right now using this formula to grow their businesses and to expand their missions. So I'm so lucky that all of these things have just accumulated for me. Who knew that this was what I was to experience and this was what I was supposed to be bringing to the world? But I know people say to me, Trish, how did you do it? Well, here's what I want to share with you. Before I get into the presentation Profitizer, I want to share 3 fundamental principles. 3 fundamental principles that when you remember them, success is there for you to take. The first principle is the one that Oprah Winfrey talks about. And you hear this all the time. She says, follow your passion, do what you love, and the money will follow. Most people don't believe it, but it is true. And I agree, it is true. But there's one fundamental piece that's missing from this. And I want you to write this down as you write down this quote. Follow your passion, do what you love. And here's the missing piece. Get really, really, really good at it. And then the money will follow. That is what's true. So you've got to get really good at it. And it means that you put an effort and energy into your core skill, into the thing that is your gift, your talent. So when you get good at it, the money will come. Principle number 2, the most important things in life aren't things, right? The most important things in life are the people. The most important things in life are Debbie Montgomery Johnson standing up and making a difference for other people. The most important things in life as you look around are the people in your life. And as long as we always remember that, success will be right there for us. And then the third, you know, if you think about it, the more people that you're able to serve, the more successful you become. So the idea is, of course, to expand the ability that you have to speak to the most people at one time. Third principle is speaking to groups is the way to do that. Actually speaking to groups. And I see all of you jumping into the world of Facebook Live and Instagram movies and all of the things that are available out there right now, because visual is the way to go. Visual, being seen and being seen by lots of people, is what's really going to change your life and give you the success that you want. Now, I know that sometimes when I say public speaking, many of you feel like Kevin in Home Alone. It's like, it's a little scary for me. I don't want to hold up my phone and talk to it on Facebook Live, and I certainly don't want to stand in front of a group of people. Now, I know that's true for some of you, and then the other side, or many of you, want to do it. And I see people all the time standing and grabbing the mic and getting up and speaking. And most of the time you do a great job. And wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to do it every time, a great job, every time to make the difference that you want to make? So that's what we're talking about here today. There's no reason to fear public speaking. This is Mary Dominguez, and many of you know her. Mary had a fear of public speaking when it was grown-ups. She was a teacher And she taught kids, and talking to them was really easy. But as soon as adults got up in front of her, she would get a little nervous, and she would start to shake, and she would really not project the way she wanted to. Now, here's the negative side of not being comfortable with that, is that she had a passion to really help teens and parents come together to communicate, because as a teacher, who better than a teacher sees what you can do to make a difference in the lives of parents and teens? So Mary said to me, Trish, I have to get past this, and I have to get good at speaking. Even if it's just to a group of 7 parents, I need to be able to do this. And I'm so happy to tell you that she did. She's worked with me, she's come to our workshops, she has taken our programs on speaking and messaging, and now she's speaking and hosting her own events. She's a published author. She's absolutely confident in front of a crowd, and she's no longer teaching. She has moved full time into the change and the difference that she wanted to make in the world. In fact, this is a Facebook post that she put up in February, and it says, "Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to touch the lives of these moms and their teens. I declare that their relationships will be even stronger. I'm grateful for the passion I have in my heart to guide and support parents. And I declare that I get to transform the lives of thousands of parents and teens worldwide." Isn't that the expression and the excitement that we all want to feel and to be able to do? So that's what Mary did. And now she's like, give me the mic, I can speak, I can handle it. And that's what we all want. So think about speaking to groups. I really want to light a fire under you here. Why speak to groups? Give me a couple of ideas in the chat about why you should speak to groups. Why, what's the benefit of it? And Susan, if you would, let me know what everybody's saying in the chat. Why should you speak to groups? What does it do for you? What's the benefit of it?
Get your message out to a lot of people all at once.
Yes.
Reach a larger number of people. Share your message to your audience. Get your credibility. Reach more people in less time.
Great.
Speakers are seen as experts, right? Increase your reach tons of people. Exposure. You're seen as an expert. It's the first of several touches.
Awesome.
In order to make a sale. You can address many people at the same time.
Great. Awesome. Thank you, Susan. You are right on. Ladies and gents, you exactly are right on. Number one, you get to leverage your time. Why would you want to take 1 hour, speak to one person, and then have lunch, go take another hour, speak to another person, take a break, take another hour, speak to another? Nuts. It's nuts when you can have those people in front of you. You get to leverage your time. I don't know about you. I have only so many hours in the day. And every day I start my day, and I think I have way more than I thought I did, because I get to the end of the day and I go, wait a minute, I still have a few more things on my list. But I find that when I speak to groups, I leverage my time in a big way. So you're absolutely right. The other thing you mentioned was the establishing your position in the marketplace. You know why people call me a sales expert? Because I speak to groups. No kidding. Nobody called me an expert until I stood up in front of people and said, this is what you can do. And then they looked at me like, wow, look at her message. I'll tell you, when I wrote a book, my next door neighbor all of a sudden thought that I was a queen of England or something. When you stand out and stand up in front of people, they see you, and they see you for what you bring to the world. And by the way, you also stand out and you get remembered. You also create better connections, because here's the thing, when you can speak to groups, your messaging becomes really honed. You also get the ability to think on your feet, so no matter what situation you're in, you can always articulate your message, whether you're talking to 1 or 2 people in a networking, or you're writing an email to influence people to become a part of your program or your product or service, or whether you're standing in front of groups. You're going to create better connections. You're going to get better in every presentation, including those written ones. It boosts your confidence, and confidence is what makes success. Plus, here's the other thing. When you create talks, you're also creating product. Your talk now becomes your product. And I'm going to show you how you can repurpose those things on a shoestring budget so it doesn't cost you a lot of money. And then, of course, you create a community of raving fans who fill that funnel and keep coming back for more. And isn't that what we all want? Yes, yes, yes. So the other thing is you get to sell your stuff. People actually know what you have, how you can support them, what a difference it makes for them. Now, I know some of you, and I was thinking this way when I first got started, what stuff? You can sell your stuff, Trish? I don't have stuff. But the reality is you do. You have a lot of stuff. And right now, most of it is in this thing between your ears. But let's get it out. Stuff like CDs, really right now, things like flash drives with audios on them, things like books, things like MP3s, articles. There's so many things that you have created already. Your blogs, your posts, all of that can be sent out, pushed out, and get your message out to more people. The other thing, and this is for me the biggest, is you get to make a difference, and you get to make a bigger difference. When you have people listening to you from a stage, you make a greater impact in whatever it is you're up to do in the world. So people always ask me, you know, this messaging that you teach people, this speaker, messaging and this training that you do, who is it for? Well, I can tell you that my partner, Nancy Matthews, and I, and many of you know Nancy Matthews and I have trained over 500 people in this work, resulting in $12 million or more coming into just the businesses. So let me tell you who it's for. Everybody. It's for a Mary Kay rep. It's for a technology expert. It's for image consultants, financial services, coaches, attorneys. These are all of the people, the types of businesses, and it's women and men. It's for every type of business and every type of project. And if you don't believe me, let me tell you, John Mark Burns, some of you know him, he lives in New York. He is an artist, extraordinary singer, songwriter, and he also works as a voice coach to help people with their voices. And he came to work with Nancy and I about speaking to groups, influencing people. How do I get my message across so that I can show people, not just singers, but speakers, executives, what they can do with their voice and the impact that they're going to have. So he wanted to create a business around voice coaching, and he hadn't done that. So what we did was we created some programs and packages for him that made it easy for people to purchase. And he presented his offer of the brand new package that he created at an in-person workshop that we were doing, and he sold $1,000 at the workshop. And now he's helping speakers to save their voices and have more power. So no matter what kind of business you have, there's a way we can package your business, your message, what it is you support people with, so that they want it and it makes the difference that you want to make, no matter what your business is. So get your pens ready, and let's get into the presentation Profitizer formula. This is the actual formula. I'm going to give you the step-by-step of the formula that we use. Now, I love math. In fact, in college, I carried a 4.0 in math because I loved it. Math is easy. It's plug and play. You fill in the blank here with a number, you fill in the blank here with a number, and every single time you get the right answer. That's what a formula does for you. And that's what the presentation Profitizer will do for you. So the first thing about the presentation Profitizer is structuring your presentation. And many of you have heard these terms before. I'm not necessarily sharing anything new right here as I get into the basics and the foundation of it. Many of you are in Toastmasters, and Toastmasters uses this. In fact, when I was in college, this was the format we used. And you've heard this before. The opening is going to tell them what you're going to tell them. So your opening sets the stage for what it is you're going to share. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the body of your talk. And in the body of your talk, that's where you tell them what you want them to know. And then lastly, the recap, where you tell them what you told them. Oftentimes you'll hear speakers say, in conclusion, or they'll say, as we wrap up here, then you know that they're going to the ending of the talk. Well, here's the thing. That's a really good structure for a talk when you want to give information to people. When you want to give information to people, this works really well. But when you want to create transformation, there's a bigger dance. There's a much bigger dance required than simply that basics that you learned in college or at Toastmasters. And it really is creating a choreography to your presentation. And again, this presentation can be from a stage, or it could be sitting in front of a group of executives that you're sharing a proposal with, or it could be in writing. But there's a choreography to the presentation. So let me share this with you, because this is the difference. Choreographing your presentation starts out with your opening of telling them what you're going to tell them, but you create rapport and credibility in that opening. How many times do you see a speaker come on and they'll say, hello, I'm Trish Carr. So nice to meet you. I'm so happy to be here. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I have so many initials after my name. I am a CPA and an MIC and an MIDDO and a what? And I have 5 years experience in this and 15 in that, and that's really not what you want to hear. And that does not establish rapport and credibility. So you really want to remember that it's not about you, it's about them in your audience. And you create rapport and credibility by keeping the focus on them rather than the focus on you. The second area is the telling them what you want them to know. And this is what you're all really good at right now. All of you know your products and services. You know how they help people. You know the difference that they make. You know the scientific findings behind them. You know the data. You have this part down. But in order to choreograph it, you've got to tell them using stories and testimonials of happy clients. Stories that take it from concept to reality. Stories that take it from something way up here that's intangible to something that I can feel, touch, and experience. So stories and testimonials are key to influence when you're sharing what it is you want them to know. And then the recap is not about, in conclusion, let me just tell you what I already said. The recap is reminding them of the value that you're bringing, the value, the difference that you make, and being real clear on that. And then the last part, and that's often missing with the standard foundation that everybody does, the conclusion is inviting your audience to take the next step with you. So that next step with you could be go to my website and get my free thing, or pull your cell phone out right now and type in the word wow to 72727. Or it could simply be, I have my product with me here right now and I have several of them available. So asking, inviting to the next step. So this is the choreography. So here's an example. Tamara Patzer has come to the speaker training and certification several times because every time she comes, she grows her market. When she first came, she had a desire. She's a PR expert, public relations expert, and she wanted to support business owners by getting them as published authors and then leveraging that published author to get them on TV and radio. And that is what she does, and she does it very well. But when she came to the workshop, her business wasn't where she wanted it to be. After the workshop, and after really getting this Profitizer down, she launched best-selling books with over 100 new authors. She created for herself packages and new products so she can serve more people with less of her personal time. And notice how much she tripled her revenue. Tripled. Oh, by the way, this is a picture of her standing in Times Square as she is on the Jumbotron in Times Square promoting her business. Pretty cool, right? Tripled her revenue. Simply because together we created packages, together we created the messaging, and together we got it to where she could actually offer it to people and they bought it. So the formula, here's what you want to do. The first step of the formula is making sure in that beginning, that opening where you're establishing credibility, that it's all about the WIIFM, and you all know what that means, right? It's what's in it for me. So you always want to consider my main topic. Let me think about what am I going to speak about? And it's got to be about what they want. So jot this down, because you'll always want to ask yourself these questions before you're going to be speaking to a group, on a stage, creating an email, whatever. What I want them to learn is, and the benefit of learning this is. So for example, what I wanted you to learn was speaking is not just learning how to be confident. Speaking changes your life and transforms your business. And that's the benefit of learning this. I want you to learn that there's a formula. And the benefit is that once you have that formula, it changes your life. The second thing in the step is getting clear on your target market. Like, really, who am I speaking to? Now, it's true that when you do a presentation or you send out an email, you're probably going to be speaking to more than just your target market. But let's get clear on who do I really want to speak to. And you want to ask yourself this question: who's it for? And who can I best serve? So for example, some people who work in the skin industry say, I serve everybody who has a face. Well, that's great, but you can't possibly be giving the same message to a 25-year-old that you would give to a 55-year-old. So you've got to get clear on who it is you're speaking to, talk to them, and then everybody else will get whatever it is they need. So ask yourself these questions. Now, some of you might say, well, I serve moms, for example. But you gotta get niched, you gotta get it down, because this mom who's running everything, working from home, doing all this stuff, is different from this mom who is home during the day, maybe working part-time. It's a totally different message to that mom than it is to this executive mom who's running out the door in the morning, getting her kids to school as her husband's going to his job. Or to this mom who sits at home and talks with her baby on her lap. I know many of you are doing that right now, aren't you? Or this mom, these moms actually, which are both in the older mom and the younger mom in that sandwich generation. So who is the mom you're talking to? Let's get clear on that target market and ask yourself all 4 of these questions. These 4 questions will give you the content that you want to share in a clear way, so that you know you're speaking to the mom who has the baby on her lap as she's sitting at her laptop, not to the mom who's running out the door. And it gets you really clear and focused. So make sure you ask yourself these questions, okay? So jot those down. What are they experiencing? What are their problems? What do they want that I can give them? Get really, really clear on all of that, because that will drive your presentation. That becomes your content. All right, number 3 is your next steps. What do I want them to do as a result of hearing me speak? What do I want this audience to do? It's usually one of 4 of these reasons, if not all 4 of them. So one could be to buy an additional product or service. Another could be to have a better understanding, be convinced, have a new perspective on something. And honestly, most of the time, people have preconceived notions about everything. So your job is to help them have a better understanding about what it is you do, number 1. And then maybe to want more information or to recommend you to others. For me, most every time, all 4 of these reasons are what I want them to do. And then it's about engaging and attracting the right people, and that's where your content comes in. So your content, which is put together by asking yourself with those questions, What are they experiencing? What do I have? What are they telling themselves? What are they saying to themselves? What's the real problem? You take your content and you put that in the proven formula, and you will see the revenue and results that you want in your business. Let me give you an example. Many of you know Gladys Diaz. She's one of the Love twins. She and her sister run Heart's Desire International. And they work with women and men who want to find their heart's desire, whether that's someone they haven't met yet or it's someone they sleep next to every night. They want people to have great relationships. So here's Gladys, who is the face of the business at the time. This was a couple of years ago now. And she is traveling and speaking, but she's not really converting. She's out there. In fact, the week before she came to the in-person training, she had flown to California on her own dime, sold from the stage, and made no sales. So there she was, flying to California, paying for a hotel room, 0 sales. After she came to the workshop, the first thing we did was we looked at, what are you inviting people to do? What's your offer? How much is it? What's in it? Is it interesting? So we repackaged and we looked at everything she was doing, and she created a 3-day event and she sold it in the training program, and she sold over $1,000 right there in the room. And then in the next 3 days, that program that she created in that workshop made her another $10,000. Now I can tell you that since that workshop, the 3-day program she created has become the signature program of Heart's Desire International, and it has made over $250,000 for her business. Not to mention the hundreds of men and women that she's been able to support in finding love. And isn't that what it's about? So that's what's possible when you say, yes, I'm going to learn how to message. I'm going to learn how to package my products and services so they're attractive. Now, there's lots of places you can speak, lots of places. Think, in your mind, I bet you get in the chat right now and jot one down. I'm sure you can think of a place that you can speak. And if you can, here's a list of all the different places that you can speak. Networking groups are always looking for speakers, keynotes for companies and corporations. There's events everywhere all the time who are looking for speakers. There's Rotaries, Chamber of Commerce. At Women's Prosperity Network, when you speak at a local chapter, you have 5 minutes in front of the group. 5 minutes sounds like it's not a lot, but let me tell you, a lot can happen in 5 minutes, especially when you have a presentation Profitizer formula. I can get up front of a room in 5 minutes and have you sold. So simple once you know how to do it, right? So there's lots of opportunities. Let me show you how much money you can make. That's the other thing. Because let me tell you, I'm putting in my effort and energy. I want to at least leave with paying for the gas in my car, right? So let's say you're doing a networking, just a regular networking association speaking for free, and you're going to invite people to purchase something for, let's say, $50, which is not unusual. In 30 people rooms, you can make, if you sell 10%, you walk out with $150 and you've made a difference for 3 people in that room. If you can move your sales from 10 to 20, now you're talking 300. And if you go to 30%, which is always my goal for you and for me, 30% is platform. That's what we need, threshold. Because those 9 people that I would make a difference with are going to spread my message for me. So look at this. You do this every week. That's how much money you bring into your business and into your bank account. Could you use an extra $1,800 a week? My goodness, even if you did it once a month, couldn't you use $450? Absolutely. Think about what you could do with that extra money. Now let's take it. This is Leisha Berry. Now Leisha sells what you would call woo-woo stuff. She speaks to your heart. She connects it with your head. And here's what happened for her. She only had 9 audience members the first time she tested the formula. And she sold $550 to 4 people. So that's almost half the room said yes. Wouldn't you like that to happen for you? Now let's take it up a notch. You get really good at this, and now you speak at larger stages, and you have the opportunity to sell much higher products and make an even bigger difference for people. So look at these numbers. Anywhere between $500 product to a $5,000 product, that's what you're looking at. Now here's the thing, there is usually the person who invited you gets part of whatever you generate from the stage, but even at 50-50, even if you split it 50-50, that's how much money you're gonna see even after the 50-50 split. That's a year's worth of salary for so many of us, and that's for a 1 hour to a 90-minute keynote. You can do this. So it's about working smarter and not harder. And here's the thing, even with a presentation where you only have 35 people in a room. So this actually happened to me when I started the event at 9 in the morning, there were 100 people in the room. By the time I got to the stage at 5, there were only 35 people in the room. Some of them already knew me and had my stuff. But I opened 28% of the room. I like to say I opened relationships rather than closed a sale. So I opened 28%, and I had 10 sales at $9.95 for a total of almost $10,000. With a 50-50 split, I still walked away with almost $5,000, and 2 years later, my current total revenue from that one event is $30,000. Right? It's a no-brainer. So what stops you from doing this? A lot of these excuses, a lot of these things. It's not time, I'll do it one day, someday, but now is the time. So, you know, Albert Einstein says that if we do the same thing over and over again and expect different results, it's insanity. So if you want more customers, if you want to get your message out to more people in a way that will resonate with them, then this is the right step. And let me tell you, there's no fear here. A lot of times we hear, you know, again, I don't want to put my phone in front of all these people at Facebook Live, but it doesn't matter. We're going to get you and blast you through anything that might be stopping you, any fears that may come up. I'm going to give you 3 specific strategies so that you can overcome fear. This is Abby Eisencraft. She is a licensed tax professional in New York. And when she started working with me at speaker training, she was scared to death. When it was all over, several weeks later, she writes me this, it was actually a Facebook post, and she says, you know, to think last July I shook when it was my turn. She said, there was no way I could have done a webinar with over 1,000 people on it yesterday, nor the 30 radio shows I've done since January, all to rave reviews because she came to the business of speaking, which is what we call our program, because it's about business. So you know how much you can earn, you know that opportunities are everywhere, and you know that there's an easy, repeatable formula to take it to the next level. So would it be okay if I shared with you what that next level is and how you can have it? I think that's an okay in the chat. So we know that you're a change agent and you're making a difference. We know that you're also an action taker. So here's how we do it. We increase your influence, we expand your reach, we attract the right people, and we leverage you to increase your bank account with authentic speaker training. I don't want you to sound like me. I don't want you to look like me. I want you to sound like you. I want you to be the real you so people can connect to the real you. And I mentioned Nancy Matthews is my partner in this. Many of you know her. She's been in her own business now for a long time. Together we have trained many, many people. We've done thousands of presentations. She's a multi-best-selling author just like myself. Oh, and by the way, she's my sister. How cool is that? Along with my other sister, Susan Winter. So she'll be joining us. So here's how the program starts. It starts now because I want to give you the opportunity to have an online way of starting this training today. And I want you to have to wait until you come to a workshop. Let's get going now. So I'm going to give you a course that's 9 hours of video and audio, and I'll show you how you can do it a little bit at a time. In fact, many of you are in your car right now, I know. So in your car, you're going to be able to listen over and over and over again. It's sort of like, you know, when you're listening on the radio and all of a sudden you're singing a song at 5 o'clock that you heard at 1 o'clock. Same idea. This stuff will just get into your brain. So here's what we're going to give you. First thing is I'm going to show you how to make captivating copy, like how to write to inspire your buyers, how to make an offer with a proven formula to create a money-making presentation so your audience says yes, and then how to fill your pipeline with qualified leads, not tire kickers, qualified leads. And this is a strategy. Everything I'm giving you is formula and strategy. Repeatable. You don't, once you learn it, you just do it over and over again. I'm also going to share with you how to get you in the story. Who you are, your inspiration for what you do, where you've been in the world. The real you is what people want to connect to. And we're going to show you how you do that. And this audio will show you how to turn your story into an authentic and inspiring message that makes the impact that you want to make. I'm also going to share with you 5 deadly blunders that people make so that you don't make them. And then lastly, I'm going to give you a video that shows you step-by-step instructions on how to take your content, repurpose it, and do it on a shoestring budget so that you can make money in your sleep. That's the idea. Want to be able to go to sleep, ka-ching, ka-ching, right? Dr. Erica says the course and the information was so easy to understand, easy to get. So it's all about having easy, and that's what we want to do. Dr. Marlene Green, who's a leadership expert, she said all the key ingredients are there with the exact steps. And it's the best sales tool that she has. So this online training program is going to be a sales tool that you will have forever in your library, and you can continuously refresh yourself, remind yourself over and over again. You know, they say that repetition is the mother of retention. And that's why I like online training courses, because I can just shoot it on my phone, and then wherever I go, I can listen to it. You're also going to be able to fill your funnel with those qualified contacts and articulate your message every single time you open your mouth so that people want what you have. You'll also increase your confidence, maximize your time and energy. You'll have a storehouse of products that make you money while you sleep. And then the idea is you'll consistently increase month after month. I'm also going to throw in a speaker resource library. And that has everything you need to be a rock star. The forms, all the templates with the fill in the blank here, the timing calculator. So if I have a 30-minute speech, how long do I spend in my opening? How long do I spend with my content? How long do I spend with my close? What about contracts? When you're being invited to someone else's stage, you want a contract. We have all the contracts in there, and a checklist for speaking that has every single thing you need to remember, right down to having mints in your pocket so your breath doesn't stink. That's what we're talking about. So the comprehensive course materials, the worksheets, the templates, everything is available for you and easy for you to get. So, you know, you can have the success that we're talking about. It's just a matter of saying yes to yourself. You know, like Gladys, $1,000 earned in the training and $250,000 earned simply because she had the mentoring to create a package and a message that worked. Or Mary, who's now making a huge difference to parents and their children. Or Abby, who can do webinars to 1,000 people. Or to Tammy, who's supported over 100 authors. Jean-Marc, who has an unusual type of business and figured out how to monetize it. Or Lisa, who has what people might refer to as a more woo-woo ethereal business, and even she packaged it. Or Debbie Montgomery Johnson, who's changing the lives of men and women all over the country and all over the world. This can be you. And for every one of them you see here, there's hundreds of others who are out there making their difference. So I know I have a couple of people who raised their hand. Let me see if I can go ahead and see who that is. Go ahead and open up your line if you raised your hand. I have lots of ideas. I see Lisa Perez asked me about if you're restricted from selling from the stage. Yes, absolutely. You can always go to my website and get. You can also give something away that has a physical handout that has all of your information on it. And in the workshop that I'm going to tell you about in a second, I'm going to give you much more information on that. Plus, in one of the audios, it's the Will They Buy It audio. Lisa, you're going to get lots of ideas because sometimes you can't say, here's my thing, buy it. And a great speaker knows how to get their thing in there without it sounding like a sale. We call it seeding. And I'm going to show you how you can do that and make it easy. So that's a really awesome question. Thank you for that.
Trish?
Yes, ma'am, Susan.
Harsha had a question about slide 3. She was wondering of the formula. She missed it and she was wondering if you could repeat that for her.
Slide 3. I don't know what it was on.
The formula. Yeah, I'm not sure either exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to invite you to, let me see, slide of the formula. Okay, let me see. Let me take a look real quick. All right, so the formula, okay, step 1 is the what's in it for me. Step 2 is your target market. Step 3 is your next steps. So you want them to buy a product, have a better understanding, want more information, recommend you to others. Make sense? That was step 3. You're welcome. And then step 4 is your content and our formula, revenue, and difference. What else? Any other questions while I'm out there? No? All right, good. Well, let me show you. Am I already on the share? There we go. Share. So we talked about all of these many people. And here's what I want to invite you to do. I want you to know that I'm also going to be inviting you to join us. This is a bonus over and above the online program. I'm bonusing in a ticket for you to attend an in-person, sorry, there you go. I muted everybody again. So let me go back to the share. So this is an in-person workshop and it's 2 days. It's a 2-day workshop. You can see that I do it in 3 different locations this year. You just missed London. I just came back from doing it in London. That would have been fun coming there. But we're going to be on Long Island in July, in Atlanta in September, and in Fort Lauderdale in October. So there's always a workshop that you can come to. And in this 2-day workshop, you're going to get hands-on training. So the online program is going to give you all of the foundation, all of the background, all of the formulas so you can use it over and over again. And you're going to get 2 days in person to work together with me and Nancy and the other people in the workshop. So you can actually practice it out loud. You can get feedback on everything you're doing because the home study program will make a big difference for you and the 2-day workshop will cement the learning and that's where the real transformation happens. Trisha Lehman, she spoke a week prior to the workshop. She spoke to a group and she made no sales. A week after, she closed 40% of the room. And this has given her such confidence. So that's what I want to give to you. And even if you don't use it on a speaking stage, this is Chip Ellis of the International Association of Government Contractors. The specific sales and marketing strategies they learned, they doubled their revenue as a result. Their results were double. So everything you learn here is about how to sell. And that's what we do here. So I invite you to be a part of the Authentic Speaker Training course. And you can go to AuthenticSpeakerTraining.com to get all the details and get registered right now. The online course has the audio and video training, the worksheets, the templates, the contracts, the marketing samples, and that speaker's resource library. And then, of course, the live in-person workshop is where that information becomes transformation, as Stedman Graham says, where you integrate the formula for your business, where you create products and packages that sell with real mentoring and coaching to get it done. You'll get some real confidence in your messaging, and you'll get some titles to attract people. And we're going to do it so that you get some live practice and feedback. Because I don't know about you, I don't learn how to race a car by watching ESPN. I actually have to do it. So that's what we do in the workshop, is you actually get to do it. So you can see the value of the program is almost $2,000. And of course, I want to make it easy for you. I want to make it affordable for you. I want you to be able to say yes to yourself. You know, one of my favorite quotes is Ben Franklin. And Ben Franklin says that when you open your purse to fill your mind will fill your purse. Let me repeat that. When you open your purse to fill your mind will fill your purse. So this is the opportunity for you to open your purse to fill your mind. Because when you do, you expand your expertise to a level that will exponentially grow your business, your bank account, and your impact. So for you today, members, it is only $399 to get started right away. You'll start the online training program at your leisure. In fact, this summer is a great time to do it when you're hanging with friends on the beach and you got your earphones in. What a better time to do it than listen then, or in your car. But it's only $399 for the online program and for the in-person program. If you're not yet a member, we always give discounts to our members. So if you're not yet a member, it's $499. Now I want to say thank you for all of you for staying and for being a part of this webinar. I have a special bonus for you. And all you have to do is send an email to me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a PDF that breaks down this presentation Profitizer formula, breaks it down so that you can turn to a page and it'll give you step 1, step 2, step 3, all there. So Sally, step 3 is right here in this presentation Profitizer PDF. So just send it to me, Trish at womensprosperitynetwork.com. And then in the subject line, put PP for presentation Profitizer, and I'm going to send it to you directly. All right, so send that to me. Thank you for staying all the way through. I appreciate that. And again, you can go to AuthenticSpeakerTraining.com to go ahead and get started right now with the speaker training. You can choose what date you want to come to the workshop, and if you're not sure, that's okay. You can let us know later. And of course, I have dates into 2020 as well. I only put in the next dates for the next 6 months. So go to AuthenticSpeakerTraining.com, or you can call Susan directly at 954-290-2240. Again, AuthenticSpeakerTraining.com, 954-290-2240. And that's what we have for you. So I'm going to invite you. If any questions, go now's time. I know Katina, you have your hand raised, Katina. I'm trying to unmute you. I know you're driving, girl, so I'm not going to bother you. She's moving. Oh, she lowered her hand. There you go. All right, who else? Susan has a question. Let me go ahead and open. Susan, go ahead and hit unmute. Susan Perso?
No, I didn't have a question.
Okay, good.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Nice to see you.
Thank you for today. It was wonderful.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Let me see. Anybody else have anything they want to add? Any questions? All right, great. Thank you all so much for being with us today. I really, really urge you to go to AuthenticSpeakerTraining.com. I'll put it in the chat. training.com, or you can give Susan a call at 954 290 2240. Sorry, my typing's not there. There you go. AuthenticSpeakerTraining.com. Notice I have a typo in there, so make sure you type it correctly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you. Have a fantastic day, everyone. I look forward to seeing you at the training, and I'll be looking for your emails to send you out that PDF.
Thank you. Much love, Trish.
Much love. Have a fantastic day, everybody. Bye.
Thanks, Trish. Awesome.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Susan. Will you share the chat?